Welcome students. Today is Tuesday, November 10th, and our lesson today is lesson number 2, Unit 4, Lesson 2. And our specific topic today is multiplication, place value, area model. So multiplication, place value, area model. Our next slide contains our learning target. I can use place value area models to demonstrate multiplication of a 2-digit by 1-digit number. Our essential question for this unit is remaining the same. Why is it important to approach problems using a variety of strategies? And on our next slide, we've got a question at the top. How does this model show 3 times 16? So how does this model below show 3 times 16? We'll pause the video for just a minute. I want you to take a really close look at it and examine it and see if you can be able to answer that question. I've had an opportunity to take a close look at it, and what's happening here, guys, this does represent 3 times 16. And when you see 10 plus 6, that means that the 16 has been decomposed. It has been decomposed as 10 plus 6 because that is equivalent to 16. And it's been broken down to a number that is easy to work with, which is 10. It's a lot easier for you to work with the number 10. And what you'll notice is there are 3 rows here, and this represents the 3 from our multiplication problem. There are 3 rows, 1, 2, and 3, and there are still 16 columns. So when you count all of these up, there are going to be a total of 16. There are 10 right here going down, and there are 6 over here. And our total is going to be 48. So our total is 48 when we actually multiply them. And let's go to our next slide. And the question at the top here is, how are these strategies related? So how are they related? And I'm going to pause for a minute for you to examine the 2 strategies. So using the base 10 block, we've already discussed how this represents 3 times 16, and the 16 has actually been decomposed to 10 plus 6. That means that they're equivalent. So the 16 has been decomposed or broken down to be 10 plus 6. We chose 10 because that's an easier number for you to work with. Okay. And down here at the bottom, you'll see that you've got the same decomposing of that number 16. You have the same decomposing of the number 16. So this actually represents the area model. So at the bottom of here, this represents the area model. It's basically kind of taking our base 10 model, but we're turning it into to rectangles, and we call it the area model. Okay, so you've got the same numbers. It's 3 times 16. You got the 3 on this side, and you got the 16 that has been decomposed at the top. You got 10 and 6. Okay, so here you'll notice that there's a number 30 in there that is your product. So, and the way that we got the 30 is by saying 10 times 3. Okay, so 10 times 3 is 30. Now over here, you got the number 18, and the way that we got the number 18 is by multiplying the 6 times the 3. Okay, 6 times 3, that's 18. So these are actually partial products in the middle right here, but when you add them all up, you get the same answer of 48. So these are on this next slide. It says draw an area model, and I've already got a model down here, and this is a start of our area model. So for this one, how many rows do you actually see? So you've got 1 row, 2 row, 3 rows. So there are 3 rows right here, and how many square units are in each row? So on this first row right here, let's count up the total number in this first row. You got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. So there are 16 square units in each of these rows. So you got 3 rows, and there are 16 square units in each. So we're going to go on and go to our next slide. All right, so our next step, going from the first model to our actual area model is basically to divide it up. So we're taking the bigger number here, which is the 16. We're still dealing with the 3 times 16. So we're taking that 16 and we're just decomposing the 16. And we're breaking it apart into numbers that are a lot easier to work with. 10 is easier to work with than 16, and 6 is easier to work with than 16. Okay, so we took the same model and we just kind of broke it apart. We just kind of divided it into 2 parts. And now on our next one, essentially what we're doing is we're just finding the area for each part. Okay, we find the area for this part, and there's 2 ways to do it. Multiplying the 10 times the 3 will give us 30, or if you count all these up, if you count all the square units up inside, you would also equal 30. And over here, if you count all these up, it will be 18. If you count all the square units up on this side, it will be 18 total. And another way to get that would just be to multiply the 6 times the 3. Okay, so 6 different columns, and there's 3 rows, and you get the same answer of 18. All right, so this kind of shows what we just talked about. And this is when you add them all up in the inside, you get that same area, what I just mentioned, or you are multiplying right here and you get the same answer. You get 30 on this side and 18 over here. And then when you add those 2 up, these are considered subtotals. And when you add them up, you get 48. So on this next slide, what I have are just 3 different ways to represent a multiplication problem. So these are 3 different models. This is the array model that we talked about yesterday, and this is the area model that we just discussed today, and this is just the abstract, called an abstract method. And I want you to just take a few minutes and examine them because eventually you're going to be able to choose the method that works best for you, the one that you're most comfortable with in solving problems. Okay, so just take a quick look at them and examine them. Okay, so on our next slide, this is just an introduction for your independent work. This is for area model practice, which is the same as page number 5 and 6 in your math binder. It's the same as page number 5 and 6 in your math binder. So your teacher's already assigned you a Jamboard. So you've already got the Jamboard assigned to you where you can do these problems. Or again, if your teacher instructs you, you can do it in your math binder, page 5 and 6, and take a picture of your work to show them your work. Okay, so I'm gonna pause. Okay, so when you go back to your Google Classroom and you open up your Jamboard to work on these problems, this is what it's gonna look like. So you've got on page number 5, there's number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And on the next page, there is a couple of additional problems on the next page. This is number 7, and this is number 8 on page number 6. Okay, so make sure that you're either doing it on your Jamboard, or if you're doing it in your math binder, page number 5 and 6, that you are taking a picture of your work. Now, when you go back to our slides here, now when you click on this little button, the help button, this will actually bring up a little short video. When you click on the help button right here, it brings up a short video that goes over problem number 1. Okay, so this video will show you how to use the tools on the Jamboard to solve problem number 1 and the other problems, and it actually will show you how to do the first problem. Okay, so if you need help on getting started on this problem or help on using the tools to work the Jamboard, just click on the little help button right here. Okay, and our next slide is our last one. So make sure you complete the Jamboard activity, or if you're doing it in your book, page 5 and 6, make sure to take a picture of your work and include it with your assignment before you turn it in. Also, you have your teacher has assigned you some Khan Academy work that's going to really help you and help you get some practice using the area model. And it is using area models and properties to multiply. Okay, so make sure you spend some time working on that too. And we say maybe at least 15 minutes on this. Okay.